Greetings, everyone. Alaafia, Salam Alaikum, and whatever other language we know. This is OsunToyin, and I'm back again to talk to you guys a little bit today. And I won't be on here too long, but I wanted to speak to y'all about starting your day, which kind of begins at night, the night before you go to sleep or before you go to sleep and then waking up the next day. So I wanted to talk to you about that. And then next week we'll talk about something that will come after that. But today I wanted to talk about like kind of how to start your day off or how we should start our day off, which is a practice all in itself, which is it's a way of basically calling to yourself what you want to happen for the rest of the day. It can help with the rest of your week, which can lead to the rest of your month, and so forth. So no matter what let's start with the night before. So sometimes we go to sleep and we all do it. I do it sometimes, but we all go to sleep with things on our mind from whatever is happening that day, the day before, things that's lingering, things that we need to address that we didn't get a chance to address, things that we're worrying about, what we have to do the next day, all of this type of stuff. It could be anything, bills, a loved one, children, life, just whatever in general will weigh on you. So when we go to sleep with that weight, for one, it affects our dreams and it affects how we wake up and we go into our next day, which will affect the type of day we have, which will actually be a beacon or call to you, basically the type of energy that you woke up with, to be honest. And there are going to be things that's going to still happen. You're going to be tested throughout the day, sometimes just to see if you really about that life, basically, to test even your character and trying to wake up and have a good day or trying to call to you or manifest what you intend to manifest throughout the day. So when we go to sleep with all of those things on our mind and on our heart, it creates this weight. And it lingers in our subconscious. And sometimes those things form into literal spirit bodies and things like that, because all energy has to take form. All energy forms some type of motion. So it starts to become a catalyst for negative spirits or positive spirits, depending on what you go to sleep thinking about and how you wake up. It becomes a catalyst for those energies that do that type of work via, like, say, for example, if it's a negative spirit, then they're looking for a negative energy wave to ride. And if you happen to already be in that energy space, then it's almost like an open door. It is an open door for those energies to travel through. So I guess it'll be safe to say, before waking up, try as hard as you can. I know some things are easier said than done, but with practice, it gets pretty easy. And once you see the difference that it actually makes, you almost don't want to go to sleep without checking yourself, because you will notice that it makes a difference. And the difference with that with some people is a lot of people are addicted to pain. A lot of people are addicted to drama. A lot of people are addicted to uneasiness throughout the day. So that's a whole topic and thing to deal with in itself. But we're talking about those people who are, even if they're not there yet, who are wanting to become more conscious of what they're attracting to themselves. We're talking about people that's already there in that mindset, because really there's no mastering it. People say that, but you have to work at it all the time. That's why it's called a practice. No matter how good and how much understanding you get, because we're living every day and different energies arise, we're going to always be still in the form of practicing, basically, if that makes sense. So When you go to sleep, it's best to try to like empty your cup. Just know that there's no more that you can do right then that needs to be done anyway. So you may as well take some time, rest your mind, rest your body, so that you can tackle whatever you have to tackle the next day. And we all have a form of control. We want to be able to control our situations and our outcomes, but we have to look at it in an energetic perspective as well, and kind of understand that what we put out, you see what I'm saying? We're expecting it to come back a particular way. It may not even come back that same way. So we just want to create a ripple effect of blessings for ourselves before we even go to sleep. So with that being said, again, try to empty your cup, empty whatever negativity that you may have, because if it's already going into the next day, unless it's something urgent that you have to be doing like right then, you got to save it for the next day. And then you're still going to need your energy to be able to get up and to tackle that and to do that the next day. So what you want to do, or what you want to try to do, is to balance that out, to say you some positive prayers, some affirmations. There are certain little things that you can do, like put a glass of water beside your bed to kind of, because water, people don't know, water is an energy conduit. And there's a reason why it's called a universal solvent and things like that. It's because water absorbs and it creates. That's why certain things, when it touches water, it creates bacteria, and then life forms form from that bacteria. So I said all that to say that it's a living thing. So what you can do is you can speak into that water before you lay down, because that way you're doing your prayers as well, and you're not just praying, you're actually doing some type of work. So you can say some positive prayers before you go to bed, speaking into the water, know your intentions, know what you want, be very specific, say it out loud, put that water beside your bed so that it can absorb any type of negativity trying to attack you, or so that it can be a energy conduit for good spirits to come through as well. So you want to do that, and you want to kind of situate yourself however you need to, say some prayers to your inner spirit, to the creator, to Mother Earth, to all the things that coexist, because that's one thing we have to understand, that everything we coexist with takes on its own energy form. The earth has its own energies. It's alive. I said that before, and I'm going to continue to say that, because a lot of people don't think about it day to day. We get up and we just start running around, and we don't pay attention to everything that's around us because we have so many distractions. So with that being said, you want to go ahead and set some what we call good juju for yourself at nighttime. And then when you wake up, this is a suggestion, something that I can share with you, real simple. But the thing about it is, you have to really connect to what you're doing, and everything that you do spiritually. You have to, for one, know that it's going to work. You have to, two, spiritually and consciously and subconsciously believe, and not even just believe, know in what you're doing. You have to know what you're doing. So you want to, when you wake up, before you speak to anybody, because those are going to be, and I'm going to give you an example of certain little tests. When you're practicing this, somebody may call you the next morning. It's going to be some drama. It may be something going on where it's going to take your mind right off of, or you may wake up out of your sleep with something, your kids, your spouse, it could be anything. And you're going to wake up right out of your sleep and get started and start running and doing whatever you're doing. And now you've forgotten to greet yourself, greet your higher self, greet your spirit, greet your good energies, greet the day in a good mindset, so that you can receive that type of energy throughout the day, so that you receive grace and favor, even though things may still arise. I have seen it in my own life, with my own experiences, that you will be granted grace and favor, as long as you have your mind right to receive that, as long as you set forth that energy in motion. Excuse me, I'm trying to fix my camera. As long as you set forth that energy in motion. So an example or something that you can do when you wake up, and I look down a lot, I'm not actually even reading anything, I'm just looking around. But what you can do is you can get up and put your hands on your head. You can put your hands on your head and begin doing prayers to your inner spirit. We call it Ori. Um, in ATR, which means African traditional. Some people say religion. It's not a religion, it's a practice, a way of life. But to those who say it that way, get up and put your hands on your head, because what you're doing is you're covering your head, your inner spirit, your sacred, what do you say, connection to everything, so that you can block out any negativity and also send what you're saying to yourself, within yourself, so that it can resonate throughout the day. So you want to wake up and you want to start doing your prayers to your inner spirit, asking that you be guided throughout the day, that you be greeted well, um, by the universe, by the earth, by the divine spirits that's out there, by no matter what name you call it. You want to be greeted well when you leave your house. And you also want to ask that your character be well, that you be conscious of what you do throughout the day, and so that you can receive what you're asking for. So when you get up, you want to pray for those things or ask for those things, and you want to also ask for things that you need in general, and you also want to be grateful, because a lot of times we'll ask for things, but we forget to have gratitude for what could already be happening, because we may think we're going through stuff, but it could be always something, I want to say, worse, or we may not even know what is being blocked from us, from happening. So there's always something going on, the reason why things are happening around us, no matter what it is. It's always a reason why. People like to say there's no rhyme or reason, but there always is. No energy is by accident. So you want to start to say your prayers, affirmations, and set the tone for yourself throughout the day. And you want to literally walk in it, meaning you're conscious throughout the day of what you've asked for, what you want to receive, what you want to be like throughout the day. And then as you continue to do it, it gets easier, but you almost want to make sure it becomes a task that you take just as serious as collecting a paycheck, as just as serious as you doing your work, or anything you take serious in life, because that's your agreement with the universe. That's your agreement with yourself. That's your agreement, with your higher self, of asking and giving. So that's kind of what I want to talk about, just a little perspective on making sure that we greet the day well, because what we greet the day with is what we're going to be met with sometimes. And like I said, sometimes things will happen, but it's how we handle those things that ensures our grace, like our rise and our fall throughout the day. And you have to know that. So, with that being said, I really don't have too much more uh to talk about, because like I said, I do have some things I have to do today, but I wanted to make sure that I did talk about greeting your day and starting off with positive prayers and work. And with that glass of water, how you discard it is you can, say some more prayers in it, and then you can dump it out, in the daytime, or you can add a little bit of sea salt to it, and then dump it outside of your door, or, flush it down your drain, whatever. But you want to make sure that you tend to everything that you create spiritually. You want to always tend to it, put your hands on it, pay attention to it, because that's part of working that energy, or working with that energy. Um, there's always a lot of different things that you can do too, just in case, somebody feel like I'm kind of leaving something out, because I may be. There's different things you can do depending on your situation, your environment. Everything is different. Before you go to bed, you can also, place different stones. Like if you are a person who float, or you feel like you fly, or you kind of flighty in your dreams, or you don't feel really grounded, you can put you some grounding stones around your bed, smoky quartz, tourmaline. You could put you some tiger's eye. You can do some pyrite, different things depending on what type of energy you want to resonate with. You can smudge your room. Sage is very what do you say, kind of basic, but you can do little things to kind of set forth your intentions before you go to bed, so you can kind of set the tone for yourself as well as for how you wake up. And then when you wake up, you can kind of repeat those steps. You can clean again depending on what kind of dream you had. If you had a dream that was very vivid, that also kind of can determine your day, because a lot of times messages will come to us in our dream. If you set forth good energy, before going to sleep, you may get some type of message that you need to hear in a clear state of mind in your dreams. And as soon as you wake up, because I learned from experience that also when you remember something, if you don't repeat it to yourself or write it down, bits and pieces of those dreams kind of leave you throughout the day or over the days. So you want to try to make sure you write it down, figure out what that meaning is. You can also call people who are good at interpreting dreams, like myself, and I'm sure many others out there, but of course I'm going to recommend myself. So, you can kind of reach out to find out what your dream may be meaning or how to kind of interpret that. Again, I would usually be in off of that subject, I would usually be doing like a reading for the day. But what I think I'm going to do, so that I'm real transparent, is when we start going live with the readings, because it's only so much I'm going to be able to pull from a global perspective. Is kind of like the same things happening right now until we actually push through this shift. We know that there's a lot of civil wars happening. I'm speaking globally now. I'm not actually off of it, because it ties into how things happen day to day, because there's always things happening around us globally, and you don't want to internalize all of those things that happens daily when you watch the news and things like that, because that sets a messed up tone for people throughout the day, because a lot of things you see is usually down energy, low vibration, mundane energy when you wake up and you see it on the news. So you want to know, how to handle all of that, to kind of filter that. You can not watch it and just tune into the universe, which is a practice in itself, because we're still going to know these things that's happening. You may not know it in complete detail, and sometimes you don't need the detail. You just need to know how to work with that energy, meaning how to work with yourself and how to work with what's around you. And so back to what's happening outside of us, we know globally that there's a big shift of civil wars going on, race wars going on, truths being exposed, lies being exposed, likewise, there's a lot of unveiling going on, things that actually never really were hidden, but people had so many distractions again that they weren't paying attention to the things that should have been obvious, the things that we should have been paying attention to. And still, even now, people are confused and they're going left and right because they're holding on to a lot of material things and not vibrating above that. So if you stay in that plane, you're going to worry about all the negativity in the world because you're not seeing your way out of it. You don't see anything different, so that energy will weigh down on you. And it's very important for you to say yourself prayers and things like that and your affirmations and start your day off before speaking to anyone, before dragging yourself into drama. If somebody walks up to you and you just waking up, give yourself that time, because you can't handle things if you are jumping right out of the bed early in the morning, or whatever time you wake up and you're already in a bad mood. Then I don't think it's going to get too much better from there. I'm pretty sure it won't. You know that it won't. Things continue to kind of like downslide from there. So before anybody jolts you out of your sleep or starts you on a rough day or rough path, speak to yourself, speak to the energies around you, speak to the universe, because there's always things happening around us. There's always going to be problems. There's always going to be distractions. But if you're not glued together, if you're not focused, if you're not grounded, how do you think you're going to respond to the daily situations? And that's why there's so many people right now experiencing mass hysteria, and people not talking about that, because everybody keeps talking about, and I'm going to say it, the COVID, which is the biggest distraction we got going right now. Because I want to say this, and it's a tangent kind of, but it all makes sense. We can focus on that. We can focus on COVID and all these numbers that they saying people dying in every day. Because I just know logically, if it was that high, we would be seeing all kind of dead bodies on the street. Like, people would just be collapsing in front of us. It would be bad, but that's not what's happening. So with that, that's keeping people in a low vibration, even though they're not thinking that, hey, all of that can't really be going on, because I'm not even seeing it with my own eyes. I'm just hearing it. I'm hearing other people say what they're hearing, but are we actually seeing it? We're not seeing it, but it's becoming your reality, because that's what you wake up with. That's what you went to sleep thinking about. Now it becomes reality. Now people who are already on a low vibration or a low frequency, it's probably going to happen to them, because they're accepting it. They're like, hey, this is what's happening. So now you got people who are in mass hysteria. They don't even know how to gather themselves. They don't know what's going, if they're going or coming or whatever, because they have no grounding. They have no footing. They're losing their faith. They're losing their minds. They're losing their stance. They're losing their focus. And it's because everybody stays constantly distracted, and nobody is dealing with inner spirit first. Everything is worldly and mundane, and we're following followers and people who don't even know where they're going, and we're listening to people who are putting this information out there that we don't even know personally. We don't know their intentions. How do we know that they care about us? You see what I'm saying? Common questions that if you were in the right state of mind when you wake up, from the time you go to sleep, you would think about these things. These would be daily questions. Like, why are we listening to this? You see what I'm saying? Because you don't physically see it. People can tell you anything. Say, for example, somebody goes into the hospital. They're really having a heart attack. They really have always had bad health. May not even realize they had bad health, whatever. And they go into the hospital, and next thing you know, all of a sudden they sick, and then all of a sudden they dying, and then it's COVID. You know what I'm saying? So I think we just need to really reassess how we wake up. Not that I think that's what needs to be done, to reassess how we wake up and how we go to sleep, because the world is spinning off a axis right now that people don't have a grip on. And it's becoming it's almost like a parasite jumping from person to person. But even though we're not seeing this disease physically in the flesh happening like this, we're experiencing the mental shift of it. So that's my whole point about making sure that we stay balanced with how we go to sleep and how we wake up. I want to keep staying on that. Let me see what else what is the spirit telling me before we jump off. I just wanted to say that, again, we have to take control of our inner spirit, our inner guide, which is yourself first, because everybody has all these different beliefs and all these different things that they believe in, but not everything is true. And how do you know what's true? Truth stands on its own. It's unchangeable. It does not have different versions. You see what I'm saying? There's not different versions of truth. It does not just keep changing like that, because it's sustainable and it's factual. So when it comes to things like that, we see constant change. I want to stay on that. Like, we see constant change every day in people's mindsets. And as soon as you see something on the news, or as soon as somebody else says something, and you notice that you'll have a shift in your own energy. That's because people are not, and a lot of us don't have enough mental strength or spiritual strength and stability to basically, how do you say, repel those things. Not being in denial, but just understanding that you don't even personally see it yourself in your life like that. So why would you take those things into your spirit? So you need to make sure when you're waking up that people are not imposing their issues or their views or how they see the world or whatever has become reality for them, in your own personal life. So I kind of think that's it. I mean, I'm sure it's more to be said, and I'll think about it later, and I'll come back to it. But right now, I just wanted to kind of talk about that because, again, people are really losing our grip. With day-to-day focus. People are all over the place. We're all over the place, as far as how we're handling day-to-day situations, our emotions. That's an all-time high right now where people just don't know what they're doing, just all over. So that's part of how to keep yourself grounded. Please, please, please be conscious of how you go to sleep, how you wake up, and what information you retain. Is it factual? Is it true? Is it sustainable? How is this actually working? Ask questions. Don't just believe what you talk. Ask questions about everything that people you do not know, people that you have never met, you have never seen, are controlling behind the scenes in our life, in our daily life. How it's affecting the world, how our family affects us, even though we're not around them, but we go to sleep with their issues, we wake up with it, we're not healing from our own issues. All of this stuff is making people loopy right now. And I'm just being honest. So with that being said, take charge, take control, take accountability and responsibility for your own sanity, your own mental health, because that's the only thing that can heal first. We can all have advice. Something may even be sparked inside of you, and hopefully I'm helping. And people, there's different people out here that's trying to help, but ultimately it's our individual responsibility to do these things. Again, you all can reach me at Hood Rituals and Beauty LLC gloss genius.com. You can call me or text and ask for the information. I can also send you my links and things like that. We can set up an appointment for a reading if there's something that you feel like we need to dig deeper into. I provide tarot readings on a more, I want to say, surface level. It still gets deep. It just depends on what message is being brought forth. And I also do different forms of readings that you will find out about if you decide that you want to book those readings. My number is on my website. It's on my Instagram. It's in all of my business profiles, but I will leave it here as well because it's public now. 404-979-0014. And my name is OsunToyin. Y'all be easy. Take control of your lives and your daily perspective. Ask questions. Peace.
Yeah. Now we gonna tell them.